Star Wars. We're talking about it. Um, Check this out. We checked it out. This is our intro now.
Check it.
We checked it out. You guys check it out. Read along. Yeah, Star Wars Live the Jedi. It is the first novel in the High Republic series that came out years ago. I don't know, like, was it 2-3 years ago? I think it was. I've literally got the book right here.
No idea.
It came out because I have the first edition because they had sweet Target exclusives when they came out. And it came out, and this is called a filibuster, where you try to 2021
Okay.
is when the High Republic stuff came out. After that, they had the series of novels, the comic books. They have the one show on Disney Plus for the children. Yes, it is before the Acolyte. It is before all the fun stuff. I think it's 300 years before the Phantom Menace. So with that being
200? I think it was. I think it was 200.
Is it 200? I've always thought 300. It's 200 or 300 years before the Phantom Menace and all that. Yoda makes a quick cameo in the beginning, but there's nobody else. Yoda's just 900 years old. So there you go. With that being said, what are your initial thoughts on the matter and the book and the vibes of Star Wars?
The book was fun. It sits right in that like bookstore, not bookstore, like supermarket science fiction, right? That you can walk in and pick up at a Walmart or something. That's along the same lines of like the R.A. Salvatore books with D&D, the Halo books, the Warhammer 40K books. A lot of them have that kind of same vibe. Like nice, easy reading, fun, quick, and snappy. Because this book is like 400 pages, and I read it in like 4.5 hours.
Yeah,
like
it's not long by any means. No, it's definitely not a Horus Heresy book. The
Horus Heresy books are about the same length, but I will say, comparing this to the first book, the Horus Heresy, I feel like a lot more gets done in the Horus Heresy books, like plot and character-wise, than happens in this book.
Fair. No, it's also a huge cast that they just kind of drop on you all at once.
Oh my god, yeah. I that's one of my big complaints about this book. I liked this book. It's a fun read, but so I counted it out because it was really bugging me as I was reading it. So there are 44 chapters and 2 interludes and an epilogue. So that's like 47 chapters. In those 47 chapters, I only counted what the chapter opens with because they switch perspectives within the chapters. In those 47 chapters, there are 22 different characters that you get the perspective of.
Yes. I don't like that. I agree with you here.
Too many.
It's way too many.
And some of them work, right? Like, I really like the opening chapter with that captain. That's a really good, like, one chapter perspective to have. Really, like, I was really, really had high hopes for the book when I read that first chapter. I was like, hell yeah, this is like the type of captain I like being written. This is how I like them talking about spaceships. I like how there's this big, tragedy and there's something they can do about it. And then we spend 18 chapters, 18 chapters dealing with the aftermath. And it is a big deal. Like, this is sort of the driving point of the book, but we spend too much time talking about this spaceship crash.
That's fair. That is fair. And it's the great catastrophe of whatever. So again, this is the starting off point. So things wow, that was great English. Moving away from that in the following books. But yes, the first chapter. I love this first chapter as a cold open, and it really sets the tone that there are stakes in this book, which is something that Star Wars does not have anymore. In my opinion, because
this feels about the same. This feels about the same level of stakes as a Star Wars anything else. This is, I mean, the fact that, especially with the epilogue, right? Knowing that the whole thing started was intentional, which, I mean, yeah, of dark side happening. I see the larger Star Wars plot points happening, being set up in the first book, right? Talk about Elzar Mann a little bit. I've never seen a dude so coded to fall to the dark side in my life. I'm excited to watch it happen.
Yeah, he actually does. He does get there.
And I know he does.
Then he has his own little fight with himself.
Yeah.
But
it's one of those, like, the best parts of this book are the ones that are leaning really, really heavily on like past Star Wars tropes.
It's fair. It's fair.
Because with 22 different perspectives, the most you hear from is Avar Kriss. You get 6 chapters with her.
Yeah, about 6.
And hers almost don't count because for so many of them, she's not actually like directly involved in what's happening. She's using her like force
her battle meditation.
Yeah, she's using her battle meditation to kind of like guide things from a distance. So you're not even getting like a great perspective on a situation with her. Her chapters are weird. I hope that she does more in the future if we keep reading these, because for the person we spent the most time with, very, very lackluster.
Fair. I like Avar Chris, her stuff, just because it kind of describes like how everyone starts to feel about the Force and like how they perceive the Force. So, fun fact, because when I was reading this, my YouTube algorithm just goes nuts for everything that we start doing, because I'm like, all right, let's learn more about Gundam. Let's learn more about Space Marine. So I got down a little Star Wars rabbit hole, and like they didn't have kyber crystals weren't a thing until after, I can't remember if it was episode, like the prequels didn't have kyber crystals either, and it all happened in like a board game, and then the board game introduced kyber crystals, and they're like, yes. But originally, like George Lucas had kyber, and it was like an item that they used, whatever. It was that. But like, I like how this kind of expands upon the Force in a way that wasn't done beforehand. Like, how does everyone perceive the Force? How Elzar Mann sees it as, I can't. It wasn't fire. It was like just a big open ocean.
Here, hold on. Because one of my highlights of this book is how everybody describes the way they view the Force, and I think it was Elzar Mann's that I wrote down because I liked it so much. Here it is, from chapter 20. If you could use the Force, then you should use the Force. It wasn't as if the Force would run out. Avar heard a song, and Elzar saw a sea of endless depth and breadth. The Force never began or ended, and it was impossible to use up, right? Yeah. Which is like a really cool way to describe it, and also how Darkseid coded.
He's not a bad guy, though. He's not a bad guy.
And there's a mirror image, and I didn't write this one down because I didn't have my phone on me when I was reading this part. But there, later, near the end of the book, there's somebody who has the inverse view of him. It's a real quick line. It's like a true Jedi would never do with the Force what they could do with their hands, right? And
yes,
it's such a strong flip early from a character who I don't think is connected to Elzar.
No,
like I don't
not really. No.
I want to say it's the Jedi Master who gets smoked.
Yeah, I think it was him too. Yeah. Because I do remember that.
I got it.
God, I can't remember these names. I'm so bad at these names.
Jorah Molly.
Yes.
Who's the Jedi Master who's like, yeah, we'll go fight a battle and then get squashed by hyperspace jumping.
Yeah. Poor. And that's the thing, again, with the stakes, is Jedi die straight up. Like, they don't get Order 66th, but like, they die. People die. Yeah, planets die. Like, they're straight up, like, even with when the Nihil are like holding the planet hostage, and they're like, yeah, we'll get this, and then it just goes wrong, and you're like, oh,
yep, they just don't get it.
Just don't get it. So like, you never really completely know like who's going to come out on top. Yes, you know someone's going to come out on top later. Like someone's going to win. Good guys, light side, whatever. But like throughout, you're like, how is this actually going to go? And that's really why I do like this book, because it starts off that, you know, things can happen. And and like with the first scene there of like, you're really rooting for this captain, you're rooting for the hyperspace, like to get out of there and then come out on top, and then huge tragedy. It does not go well. And because I even got attached to that captain in the beginning, because it was, again, great, just cold open story building. Here's what we're doing, and pull out the rug.
Yeah. It's the captain very much reminds me of the captains from like Halo, especially Captain Keyes and like the Fall of Reach book, right? Just like hyper competent, like very, very like knows their ship in and out, and then just, you know, no matter how good you are, some things are insurmountable. Some things just, reality is reality.
Yep. That sucks, but it's so good. Let's see now. That was my first one, is talking about the starts, kind of how it goes. We talked about that. I put in my notes that this is peak Star Wars, not quite Andor, but I think that it's better than, for sure, what I don't know exactly where I want to put it, because I think it's a little bit better than the prequels, but not quite as good as the originals, but like closer to Andor, because it does. I think that's the tropes of Star Wars well. Like, you have Jedi. I think this is going to be some kind of controversial stuff, but I think Anakin would have done really good in this era of the Republic, because they're more open-minded, for sure. Because they're not nearly as dogmatic, and like even the Master's like, hey, I want to become a Jedi Master so I can go walk my own path, figure out like my version of the Force. Like, how can I express myself on the Force?
Mhm.
And spoiler alert, yes, Elzar Man does do some dark side shit later, but like he's not like beat down and like, oh no, you can't do that. You're going dark side. You're becoming Sith. Blah blah blah. Like everyone around him is like, hey, we can get through this. Like he just did some heroin for the first time, and everyone around him is like, hey, you shouldn't do that. You need to do some soul searching but he does it to like, again, this is a book or two down the line to like save a planet pretty much. He saves a bunch of lives, but he does it with like some dark side powers, taps into the dark side. But again, everyone around him is like, hey, we need to talk about this. Let's do some meditation and figure this out. And he comes out on the other end later. But like, that's the part I like, to where you can start seeing that kind of degradation of the Jedi Order all the way up to the fall of the Jedi, if you will, Order 66 and all that, and how they start. And then you can also see in the Acolyte. I know a lot of people didn't like the Acolyte, but there are parts of the Acolyte I really like. So you can start to see like how they become more dogmatic. And I can't remember, it's the green alien in Acolyte is actually, I can't remember their name, but they're in this book as like a Jedi Knight, Jedi Padawan. So like that's a little bit more time, and they become a Jedi Master and all that.
I want to say there was a Padawan that got mentioned by name that I thought was weird. I haven't seen the Acolyte, so I have no idea if that was the one. But there was like something that stood out to me where they were naming people in a crowd, and there was like a Padawan Acolyte. I was like, that's a weird name.
Yeah, I'm actually going to look that in, because I had that and then I forgot to actually write it down, because that was something I wanted to bring up, because you kind of get the timeline of everything.
While you're looking that up, I will say this is not my style of Jedi. I don't like it when there are a lot of Jedi. I think Jedi are much cooler as an endangered species, right? Post prequels is my bread and butter for Star Wars stuff. I do think this is a more interesting version of the Jedi than the ones we get in the prequels, right? I like the idea of them being more open, right? It's definitely a Jedi that seems to have flourished in the absence of Sith. Since they, based on the timing and what it, the first book here, it sounds like they spanked them pretty good in the last war. So there's just not, they just don't have to deal with that. They can just be Jedi for a bit.
Yeah, there's being Jedi, and it's like the Anakin version of how he sees the Jedi. Like in the beginning, it's like, no one can kill a Jedi. They're super mystical, magical beings, and blah 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 blah. And that's like kind of how everyone sees the Jedi too. Is like, oh shit, a Jedi's coming to save me. Let's go. Like we're saved. We're good to go. So like they're not quite the space police yet, but it's like, oh shit, here they come. Like we're good to go. Thanks, Jedi.
Like them as warrior monks, right? They're not a little isolated conclave on Coruscant that just sends out a dude every once in a while. They're like living in amongst the people as much as they can. They've got dedicated outposts that they like. People are just always at. They're just always Jedi there.
Yeah, like the new Starlight Beacon, which I still to this day don't exactly know what it's for. Because, I get it. Like, it's out there. We're doing hyperspace travel. It's the infancy of hyperspace. Also, hyperspace comes a long way in 200-300 years.
Generally, in real life, we tend to figure out, like, logistics pretty quickly. So it would make sense that they would develop hyper lanes and hyperspace as quickly as possible.
Sure.
Just that's if you're living in a society based on, like, trade and commerce, that's the best way to do it. The faster you can get something to somebody.
That is fair. What was it? I don't remember. Keep going. I forgot what I was talking about.
Yeah, the Starlight Beacon, what it's for, it's just like a port, right? It's just an extra port that they can station things at. It's a place for people to come and dock. It's also like an outreach program, right? The counselor or chancellor.
Who is the chancellor?
Chancellor. Yeah, is a very interesting character because she's definitely like an egotistical politician, but she's one of those that's like, I'm going to create things that are so great that I can't be forgotten, which is, as far as egomaniacs go, a much more preferable one. It's basically just like, this is the inner core in the outer rim.
Fair.
Right? That's sort of what it is. It's a way to connect them and bring them all together to create the galaxy at large.
Yeah, and they're making more of them. They're like hyperspace beacons too. So like I said, ports, stopping points, all that. There are all kinds of stuff. Museums. There's a Jedi outpost there. So they've got all kinds of stuff on the Starlight Beacons. I can't remember if they do more later. I'm starting to reread everything just because again this got me reinvigorated and everything. But yeah, the one thing I do remember was Elzar Man and his thing, because I do like his character arc of everything, and because he's like the Qui-Gon Jinn of everything. So where like he's very much just like, the Force is the Force. I'm going to use it. I'm going to learn about it. And here we go, guys. So, chill guy, good friend. But I do also like another thing I hate. I've decided definitively that I don't like Luke Skywalker. Yeah, we would not be friends. He's a little whiny.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, I think most movie protagonists are not people you want to hang out with in real life.
There's a few.
I mean, Luke starts off as whiny because he starts with we meet him as an 18-year-old.
Yeah, but then he's
18-year-old with nothing to do. You know what I mean? Like, I very rarely do I think that the complaint of a character being whiny is valid. Because by the time you get to the end, they're not. Luke Skywalker at Return of the Jedi ain't whiny. He ain't whining.
He's not. But he turns back to whiny, and then that was one of those things where, like, the time I thought it was
kind of. When does he turn back to whiny? I don't.
He turns back to whiny the next movie where he throws the lightsaber off the cliff and everything. Everyone's like, "That's out of character."
That's not whiny. That's a man who's scared, right?
It's fair, and
that's a dude who doesn't want to re-engage. And at the end of it, he ain't scared, is he?
It's true. But like, I remember when people were like, "That's not Luke Skywalker." I'm like, you know what? Now, like, after like rewatching it and like that's actually very Luke Skywalker. Like, it's not the Luke Skywalker that you get in like the extended universe in the books in the 90s, right? Yeah.
Because like that dude was basically like a demigod.
Yeah,
that's not good storytelling for one movie. You can't just have Luke Skywalker be the best for one movie. That's not interesting.
He's the best when he comes in the middle of Mandalorian and just wipes face.
An overpowered character is very, very cool, but it's very hard to make them interesting. Superman is like an incredible anomaly in that there are interesting Superman stories.
I was actually literally about to bring up Superman. Like, I really like the James Gunn Superman, and like it's just Superman doing Superman stuff. But
yeah,
why do I say that? I am so bad about not describing things and just saying that.
You're pretty bad at it, yeah.
Sorry. But back to Star Wars. What did you think of the Nihil? They are the main antagonist. They are kind of led. I'm so bad with names. I'm just gonna call him the Eye. I'll remember his name eventually.
Like Martian Rowe.
Yes, Martian Rowe. So what do you think about Martian Rowe and kind of his arc in the middle with everything going on? Because I like it because they're not Sith, but they are they're not even a big antagonist. They're like a little ragtag, not really ragtag, but like a little group of mercenaries, pretty much.
Yeah, they're not big and strong. They are sneaky and lethal.
Yes, like not our normal Star Wars bad guy. We don't have a Darth Maul in your face whooping your ass or a droid army. It's just we got a group of people that are just wrecking house, sneaking in with their paths, getting out, and yeah. What do you think about
that? The Nihil are interesting. I do want to see where they go. Martian Rowe felt weird because the first half of the time we like spend time with him, he doesn't seem to have like a great idea what's happening, and then at the end it reveals that it was all his plan. But if we're sitting with his perspective, we should get clued into that.
That's
I
fair.
don't know. It seemed very weird at the end where he was like, yes, it was my plan all along. It's like, but
it was like a throwaway line
earlier when we were like in your head. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and that was straight up a throwaway line. It was just like, oh yeah, that was me. Like, where did this even come from? And I think it's even in is it the epilogue at the end? I think it's in the epilogue too. It's not even like in the main book when he's talking. It's just like him doing.
It might be, yeah. It's when he's taunting Loden.
The whole thing with him, he's eventually trying to like bring back. I think it's Darth. Is it Nihilus or Bane that sucks up Force energy? I can't remember. One of the big Sith lords.
I don't remember.
But there's a giant beast.
I knew this was like Sith plan at some point, right?
Yeah.
Like,
so he's just trying to find like a giant beast to kill all the Jedi. Like that's his main plan. Is he just wants to kill all the Jedi, but he needs a Jedi to kill all the Jedi to unlock something. It's in like the next book, but that's like his big thing. The Jedi did him dirty or like his family dirty in the past, and he just wants to kill all the Jedi. He's not even a Sith. He just wants to kill the Jedi. So that's Marshawn Lynch's motivations with his old lady.
Marshawn Lynch?
Yeah. The football player, the running back for the Seahawks. He's retired and works on Fox, I think. So yes, that one. That guy. He's just going to run through everything. Martian Rowe. Jesus Christ. bro, check this out. But I like that little dynamic of him taking over the Nihil, and kind of like how they're pretty much a pyramid scheme, but they end up turning into, being mildly decent because of these secret hyperspace paths and all that. And with a little direction, he does end up taking them again in the next book to some greater heights for his own gain. And then I think the lady one, Lorna D.
Lorna D, yeah.
Yeah, she ends up giving her own book called Tempest Storm, which is...
She felt like a character that would get expanded on, yeah.
Tempest Runner. And do you have a problem with... Not necessarily a problem, but I feel like I didn't know that she was a Twi'lek until like 3/4 through the book. I feel like that happens with like a lot of the characters.
I'll be honest,
I don't know their alien race.
Yeah, I'll be honest, unless it was like really specifically spelled out, I really didn't pay attention for the Nihil because they were all masked up anyway. So like in my head, they were all just a bunch of like faceless masked people.
Fair.
Yeah, I didn't really imagine them as such.
Fair. Yeah.
And again, I didn't have much time to build an image of them because we spent 2 chapters max with most of them.
Yes, I would.
We spent the most time with Kassav, and he was like, yeah, we spent 3 chapters with Kassav. So
and one of those was his botched blackmail attempt.
Yep,
which was cool. So wait,
against the not Mandalorians, apparently.
Yes, the not Mandalorians. And then again, I do want to hear your take on kind of that his last stand battle. I thought that you would enjoy that with them going like doing the mild hyperspace jumps and then like kind of that whole space battle. What did you think of that?
That was cool. I liked it. Parts of it were annoying. I get what they were trying to do when they like smushed the Jedi Master, but like I didn't care because we'd met the Jedi Master like a chapter earlier, and they hadn't done anything to make me think that they were going to turn the tide. Like they didn't. Like they flew out with what are like single person fighter craft, which is fine, but that's not what the issue in the fight is. So like I don't know, I just overall it was fine. It was a good space battle. I liked a lot of the stuff that Nihil did where they were like dumping their waste and then like lighting it on fire, and then that was cool. Like how do these not military trained people fight this large force? But other parts, like I feel like any sort of emotional impact in that fight was lost on me.
Fair. No, this makes sense. Because I think that is the big thing is there are way too many characters to kind of attach yourself to. And I feel like not necessarily attached. I get kind of like attached to the story of Marchion Ro because you just kind of you're with him, I think the most.
I think the 2 characters that at least for me, grabbed me the most were Marchion Ro and Bel Zettifar, right? I think that you spend the most time with them and you get the largest amount of their motivations that you get to develop some sort of relationship with them, right? So I'm interested to see where their story goes more than the others, right?
Right. Yeah, because
we spend the most time with Avar, but I don't care. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I understand the Avar, Chris. Like, I think they wanted to canonize battle meditation from the Knights of the Republic series and then like use that in a cool way. But Bel Zettifar as a Padawan and getting to see like his side, kind of what we missed from Anakin of like a Padawan growing up in a war, because that's kind of where it goes. Like they're going to be in a war with the Nihil and kind of see like his growth, because he's depressed right now. He just lost his master. Like he just lost a bunch of like people that he grew up with, honestly, and then is like going to he's a Jedi Knight, but he hasn't done it yet, and like just kind of his own internal battle with everything. I don't think he goes dark side like Elzar Mann does. But
it didn't seem signposted that way to me.
No. He, I do remember, like, again, with all the books and everything, you really get into like his internal turmoil of everything, and like his motivation. As soon as he finds out that his master's alive, he's on it. Like, I'm ready to save you, dude. So yes, I do agree, and I think that he has a bunch of comics too, of like his adventures of everything after some of the books. I think that he's got a bunch of the comics, and then. I can't remember anything else. I actually haven't read any of the comics. I need to, because I like the whole High Republic era of everything.
Are they still doing High Republic stuff? Or are they done with that?
I think they still have runs of everything. I could be very wrong, but I do think it's still coming out. I actually just saw like is it Walmart or Target? Target's actually selling. No, it's Price Chopper. Is selling like 3 packs of High Republic. So they've got like 1, 2, and 3 that they're just selling in grocery stores now. So if you want to pick up some comics, you might be able to find them at the grocery store. I know Walmart does a lot of those for like Marvel and DC. They've got like those prepackaged ones that are all together, things that they're trying to get rid of. Or go to your local comic book shop. There you go. There's my PSA for the day. But yes, I do think that they're still doing them because it's a cool era of everything. So we did start on it, and yeah, so obviously for this one, I'm talking more about like the main plot points as opposed to like just going through the beginning to end. What did you think of kind of the Republic in this era? We kind of talked about Chancellor So and what she was doing, but what do you think about like their values, transparency, and kind of how the Jedi are working rather than being controlled by the Republic? Because in my thoughts, like, yes, they're warrior monks that they're kind of their own thing. They're not like 100% Republic, but like they agree with the Republic right now. So like, yeah, we'll help out the Republic because we're all doing the same thing, kind of. What do you think about that? And then kind of how it transitions into the prequels?
The Republic in the High Republic seems better. Like we actually don't see a lot of the Republic.
Mm-hmm.
We get a lot of like, we are the Republic, right? There's definitely seems to be a sense of community that's been developed in the Republic, which you definitely don't see in the prequels.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's interesting to see where that gets rubbed off. But as far as the workings of the Republic go, we don't really see it. It seems, a pretty straightforward capitalistic, semi-democratic system.
Fair.
It it doesn't seem like it changed a whole lot from here to the prequels. Just it got worse over time.
Okay, fair. Yeah, because I was thinking like when they went to I'm so bad at names. The hyperspace people.
The Santekas?
Yes, the Santekas. Like, I don't think the Santekas would have done anything in like modern Republic. Because like I think more people are bought in. So like the Santekas are bought in to be like, yes, we'll help the galaxy. And they didn't really charge anything. And like everyone like showing up to help as opposed to like everyone like in the Senate. And like when the Trade Federation was doing all their stuff, everyone was like, no, we're not interfering. We're not helping. We're not doing anything. We want to stay on our own side. But I feel like kind of like you said, yes, everyone is more open to help. Everyone actually believes like we are the Republic. And then kind of how does this fall is like, it starts here, ends here. How did we get there? Is kind of my thought. Cause like, again, it seems prosperous. People are happy. People want to help each other. And then we get like everything in the Empire. It turns into the Empire. We know that.
I guess you could read the Santekas as being like charitable. I don't know. I read that as more as they were being helpful so that they wouldn't be connected, right?
Okay, that's fair.
Because we got the little after bits where they're clearly like at least suspicious that it's Mari Santeka that is like opening up these paths. Right? Like they're like, well, she shouldn't be alive, but
she could be.
It's space.
We got Jedi and space wizards. It could happen.
To me, I guess you could read it as charitable, but I thought it was more like, we'll do this now so that if things come to light, people won't be like, oh, they were hiding something. And like, it's for them, it's, preventative measures.
That is also fair, but they do it in a very good way.
Yeah. I mean, they do help. And like, I think it's cool that like you get the Kevin Tarr building the big astromech model system so that he can model out the emergencies ahead of time. Like that's cool, and that shows that the Republic is like coming together. But also, they didn't send the nice stuff. Like it feels like an analog to the modern world today, right? Which is usually what Star Wars is kind of aping. So yeah, it's people are getting along, or they were more in 2021.
We were all getting along. It was right after.
We thought we'd move past it in 2021, and so we thought we could start to be hopeful again, and then we were wrong. So
yeah, yep, and that actually happens in the books too. We were wrong. That's funny. That's actually like most of my big stuff. What other notes did you have? What do you want to talk about?
I think we covered most of what I wanted to hit. Yeah, I guess you might know, why did we get so much time? Not even that much time, but a lot of time for the amount of time we spent with anybody. Why do we get so much time with the Adrians? The
family?
random pilot couple?
Oh,
yeah, they just helped
Yeah,
Why
I think they're a
do they come
MacGuffin.
back?
Yeah, they kind of do. Yeah, because I think that I'm trying to like think of like a modern, like they're like the Lando who just kind of, yeah, because Lando just kind of shows up every once in a while, like, oh yeah, Lando. I think that was supposed to be them, because they just kind of show up every once in a while, and like it's just that thing. It's the kind of the buddy whatever, because I guess you got all your Jedi who are so serious, except they're not that serious. Elzar man. But yeah, they just kind of do stuff every once in a while, and they show up kind of like Lando does. Like Lando only has maybe 20 minutes of screen time, and everyone's like, Lando, you know?
Yeah, but Lando's
cool.
get like, well, Lando makes sense why he's in the movie when he is and when he does the things he does. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't question why Lando's there. I do sort of question why these folks are there. I guess I would be fine with it if we weren't like watching from their perspective when there are characters that we get the perspective of later in the book that we're not getting the perspective of. Like the Wookiee Padawan is there.
Oh yeah,
I think in both of their chapters, at least in the first one.
Yes.
I don't know why we aren't in his head, because we're in his head later.
Yeah, I truly don't know. That I do agree with this. It's like why can't we just do this from some other perspective? Also, that's the only voice, because I listen to the audiobook because I do it on my way back and forth from work, is the only voice that I absolutely hate that the guy does. Everything else, fantastic voice acting. I love the voice he does for Marchion Ro. I love the voice he does for Elzar Man. It's very stoic and like your generic like good guy superhero. It's funny, but like everything in the book, love all the voice acting. Hate the voice he does for. He sounds like, oh, let me just do it. It's like, hey, like he's from Boston, but he's like fat and he's loud, and this is my voice, and here's what I'm doing. I hate. Like, that's the characterization of him, which I think made me hate him more. So there you go.
I get just those chapters stood out to me because I just never, like, I thought maybe they would be important later, but it sounds like they're not.
They're not.
They're just around sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And they figured out how to grab the things with the maglifts, and that's their claim to fame. And then the guy's just kind of riding that too. Like he just wants to be famous pretty much and live that life because, oh, I saved the galaxy. But yes, it's
just interesting because like all of that could stay the same, but if say we were watching it from like the Jedi Padawan perspective, right? And the Jedi can't quite do it, and they're like, oh no, it's not going to happen. And then the mag things come in, and it's like, oh my god, people help too, right? Like give a little Jedi lesson. But instead, we're just like with the people watching them help Jedi. I don't know.
Maybe that's weird. Like the whole thing is kind of that the We Are the Republic thing behind it all is like, yes, everyone's helping together. We don't just need Jedi, we need regular people too. That may have also been a little bit of why they did it from there. So it's not just like Jedi people, you know?
Yes. I guess we just didn't spend that much time with them for that to come across. You know?
Yeah, I do agree with that. Again, it's a huge cast. It's a huge cast. And it doesn't really get any smaller. So that's why I'm so terrible with names. I'm thinking about it, I'm even trying to think of, I feel like the prequels I think had a huge cast, but not as big because you had Padme, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Chancellor Palpatine, Jar Jar, Boba Fett.
That's also, you shouldn't compare a movie to a book. That's fair. Different.
Yeah, because you can only see them. Yeah.
Yeah. And like the book is almost always giving you the thoughts of one character, not another, which means you're getting that character's perspective, right? I think there's like one perspective, or there's one chapter where there's like no perspective. It's just like a third person omniscient description of chapter 18, which is also like a quarter of a page. I don't know why it's a chapter. Where there's like no character, but otherwise you're always with somebody. You're like tagging along for their ride, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas a movie is always going to be an outside perspective. Like you might follow a character, but you're not getting internal narration. You're not getting their thoughts. And so the larger cast's interaction with each other helps tell that story. Whereas here, they're just different mediums, right? A large cast in a movie is not as big a deal as a large cast in a book where you're jumping characters all the time, and they're not interacting with each other that often. That's the other thing, is you're not meeting a lot of these other perspective characters from a different perspective character, right? So you get their thing briefly, and then you jump to somewhere else with somebody unrelated, and you're getting their thoughts on unrelated characters.
That's fair. Yeah, I think the only time we ever see like the overlap is at the end when we have Marchion Ro talking to well, I'm getting so bad. The Jedi Master.
Yeah, you get a little bit with Marchion Ro talking to Loden. You get a little bit with when Chris and Elzar chat with each other in the epilogue. I feel like that's the most characterization that I got from Avar in that entire book was the very last bit.
Yeah, I think Avar Chris is more to support Elzar Mann later. I think that's really why she's there, is to support his character arc once he starts doing his own stuff in the later novels, because they grew up together. They were in the temple together. They did all their Jedi Knight stuff together, and then now they're doing more things together. So I think, yeah, she's really there as like his anchor. So she's a supporting character for Elzar Mann,
but she's the main character,
which is wild.
That's my point, right? It's a lot of, and these are like, I want to say overall, these are small issues, right? I feel like I'm harping on these a lot, but like just the choice from perspective for a lot of these chapters feels very weird to me when you look at the story that they're telling and the future stories that they seem to be setting up. It just it felt off-putting almost.
That's fair. And yeah, going back, like on a reread, I picked up everything a little bit better because, again, I had like a mindset of like, I remember, because I haven't read it since 2021. Since 2021. So like I remember like the big parts of it is like the catastrophe, the Elzar Mann doing his thing, battle meditation, Nihil, big battle at the end. That's what and then everything else in between, I completely forgot, but I kind of got to it a little bit better with the characterization and everything. But you definitely need another read to like know where everybody's going and then kind of be able to track where they get there, because like you said, there's just a lot going on, and then a lot of reading between the lines, and then also set up for the more books. Like in one book, it is very much like a pilot. I would call this like a pilot, where they're like trying to sell the show or sell the book to distributors, to Star Wars, and like, hey, here's the book, here's everything we're trying to set up. You like it? You want to make more? Here you go. And then they wanted to make more. So I think that's also kind of a way to think about it, is kind of that pilot setting. Because I did just watch The Sopranos, or I'm watching The Sopranos right now, and I hated the first episode of Sopranos. But Sopranos does that same thing where it's like, we need to set up this entire world in one episode, get our conflict, know our protagonist, know where we're going, set everything up in 45 minutes. And I think that's also why I hate it. It ends up getting a lot better because they start fleshing things out because they know where they're going. But with this being High Republic, we don't have Skywalkers. We don't have all of our main cast to grab on, except for, again, one cameo from Yoda, just because he's there. But they have to set this whole thing up, and us as readers don't have that much past to go on, so we don't like know who anybody is. You see Luke Skywalker, like, all right, I know who that is. You watch the Solo movie, you're like, oh yeah, I know who Han Solo is. You watch even Andor, you get a little bit of Andor from Rogue One, which again, to this day, does not have any business being as good as it is. So I think that's also why Andor did so well, is because it was a huge cast of people that we didn't care about, and we could really, they just built everything around it. So they got to have fun. It was a nice little sandbox for them.
I see what you're saying. I would point out that that's not how Star Wars works, right? Star Wars is a mega franchise owned by one of the biggest corporations in the world, right? They're not going to distributors. They are the distributor.
That's okay.
Right? So they don't need to pitch everything in one book because they know it's going to sell because it's Star Wars. That's why they didn't announce a High Republic book. They announced a High Republic series, right?
That is true.
They knew they could make it. But I do get what you're saying, and that they do have to set up a lot of things. I just feel like they didn't.
That's fair.
They set up some like very light foundation, right? They set up a couple interesting things, but like characters feel really weak. The most interesting ones feel as good as they do because of the familiar Star Wars tropes they get to pull on, right? Not because there's something that is unique, like overly unique about them at the moment. Not that there won't be, right? I'm not saying that these are boring characters. I'm saying from this first book, you don't actually get a lot from them.
No, and I do agree with that 100%. With that, yeah, that's my main stuff. It's a quick book. It's a quick read. Again, it's fun. It's fun. If you enjoy Star Wars, you'll enjoy it because there's a whole series that you can dive in on. If you enjoy books, I know like there are people that and I don't. This is not us, but there are people that don't watch that have never seen the Clone Wars because it's animation. So I feel like there's also people that won't read the High Republic because it's a book and it's not a movie, which I think is wild.
Some people just don't like to read, in which case I recommend like get an audiobook. You should read. Like reading is good for you like in a bunch of ways. But if for some reason that's not your pastime, like audiobooks are great. It's like a podcast but a story.
Yeah.
With that being said, there's a lot of people who they just outright don't do animation. They don't like it. They don't think it's like they don't think it's like a mature art form for people. So there's a lot that they miss out on, which is their loss because animation is most of what I watch and it rules.
Yeah, especially after the Gundam stuff, then I finished I finished this one. I painted it. I never actually showed you that I finished painting it here. Yeah, we got this.
Oh, nice
little panel lines. I'm working on my Calibarn right now, doing it all black and white, making it look like a comic panel. But yeah, then you get to express yourself and have hobbies. But no, yeah, animation does things that that just live action can't do. Like Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, I like, again, nothing against Rosario Dawson. She's just a human being that can't whip around and do backflips and lightsabers and whatnot. You know, like two very different things. But Clone Wars Ahsoka is my favorite Ahsoka. Again, sorry, Rosario Dawson, nothing against you. You're just not a cartoon.
Yeah, end of series Ahsoka in Clone Wars Season 7.
Oh, so good.
The best.
A+
Jedi.
I want to get the Battle of Mandalore here. All stained glass, Mandalore, Darth Maul, Ahsoka, get all their troopers in the background. That's what I want to do eventually when I have time and money. That's what this arm is going to be dedicated to, the Battle of Mandalore.
Nice.
So there you go. There, eventually. Fantastic. So if you have never read a Star Wars book, because even the movies I do suggest reading, like because they've got the novelizations of all the movies. I really like, I think it was The Last Jedi that I read. Way better because you get the internalization of everything. You get the internalization, I think, of Luke in the moments. You get the internalization of everybody, and that's something I do really like that movies can't do, is that internal dialogue of everything and being able to expand across like, why did they do this? Sometimes because I don't like the again, back to E33. I don't like the show me, I don't like to tell me. I like the show me of where like you're just kind of dropped in and then you start learning. I like that, but I also like a little internal dialogue to know some people's motivations because sometimes I'm dumb.
Yeah. Man, I have I can just plug it here and the other. I have a podcast recommendation for you if you like because you like Star Wars. You should listen to the Star Wars Old Canon Book Club.
Old Canon Book Club. Okay.
Yeah, they're going through every single thing is Star Wars from the beginning, from the original movie. They do all of the like newspaper comic strips. They do all the novelizations. They do the Christmas specials. They do the crazy What If book. What is it? The Mind's Eye or something. Like here's some Star Wars lore for you that you might not know. There was, after the first movie came out, after Star Wars came out, there was a novelization of the book. A novelization of the movie as a book. That book got a sequel before Empire Strikes Back came out.
Okay.
There is a totally different path Star Wars could have gone down. Because if the movie didn't explode, they were like, well, we can just do another book or something, right? And kind of continue with people who liked it. So they read that. They go through like all of it. I think they've just gotten up to, I think they just watched the second animated Ewoks movie. Like they're going through all of it.
I
It's
used, oh
great.
wow, I
I'll
used to
send you
love
a link.
the old droids. That was a good one. I used to watch that all
They're
the
they're
time.
about to hit that. They're about to hit that one like right now. I think it's the next episode. Maybe there's one more Ewok movie and then the droids, but they're like right there.
Yeah, that was great Star Wars when I was a kid. You can actually watch that on Disney Plus now. I saw that the other day.
Yeah.
Yes, they've got all the old school stuff. They must have gotten all the rights to literally everything.
Yeah, they bought Star Wars from George Lucas.
Well, I know that, but I didn't know if
They
there was
own-
like things that like he sold off too that he didn't have rights
No.
to. Oh, heard. Oh, good job,
No,
George Lucas.
he owned Star Wars part and parcel.
Fair enough.
If it's Star Wars, they own it now.
Fair. I like. I'll need to check that out because yeah, I've been watching things on YouTube, just random things like, again, super random things like why do they have their starfighter battles like old like ships and whatnot, and then like breaks down the technology of like plasma cannons versus shields and like how that whole science works. And I'm like, here's at what point did George Lucas like have the idea and then everyone else just ran with it and built everything for him? Honestly, like how much of that was just everybody else?
That's one of the things that kind of annoyed me about the backlash to The Last Jedi, because the point of Star Wars is that the movie comes out and it's got some crazy stuff in it, and then it's up to everybody else to explain how that happened.
Yeah.
So like, don't get mad that the movie did something that you hadn't seen before, because that's Star Wars. Now, all the little side stuff should explain to you why that was. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't get mad at the movie. Wait for everybody to explain why that happened in the movie. Yeah, the cool thing about the Old Canon book club is that like they do their best. I think they probably miss something here or there, but I'm not doing it with them, so I'm not sure. But like they do their best to try to mark like the first time a Star Wars thing shows up in Star Wars.
Oh, nice.
Right? So some things are like way earlier than you think they are. It's like what they were established.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I want to say in the Marvel comics in the 70s, early 80s is when we get like Darth Vader died on a lava planet.
Damn.
Right? Like we get a lot of stuff like way earlier than you think in terms of like hard Star Wars like stuff that we take for canon.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I am going to check that. Hey guys, check that out. Speaking of which, running low on time here. I think we hit all of our stuff. What
you ready?
I'm ready.
For what I got?
What am I checking out?
All right, we're gonna merge where we started with what we've been doing, and I'm gonna give you a narrative game that's been all the rage for a lot of people. I had a blast when I played it over Christmas. Bro, go check out Dispatch.
Dispatch. I'm gonna have to look that up. Send me a link. I've actually never heard of this.
How did you miss it? It's the superhero game. It's the game where you are a guy who gets put into like a superhero place and you like dispatch superheroes to take care of crime. Oh my God, how have you not? It's huge. It was massive. How did you miss this?
This is why we have a podcast.
I'm so glad I told you to play this. I thought you might have even played it and just not talked about it with me. I'm great. This is going to be a blast.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my God. I'll send you the link right. I can't believe you didn't hear about this.
No.
It's got like a killer voice cast. Oh my God.
Hey, you remember when I didn't play Expedition 33 and you were like, dude, play Expedition 33 because I had never heard of it?
That's different because Expedition 33 like was huge, but it wasn't like on the radar until like right before it released, right? I was excited because I saw it in one of the Xbox shows that nobody watches a while back, but like it wasn't, I don't know. Dispatch has been on the radit. Just Google it. Google Dispatch.
I'll just Google Dispatch. I'll do it on my phone. That way it's there.
You can do it on Steam right now. You can just look it up on Steam. It's probably still a top seller on Steam.
Now, chances are I'm gonna see, and we'll see. Let's Nope, I've never seen this. Oh wait, I may have seen, hold up, wait. I think I may have seen clips. Is there like a hot girl in blue? Yep, there she is. I've seen this. I've seen her. That's it. That's the only thing I've seen.
Some dating stuff. It's got a bunch of comedy. It feels sort of like the Invincible universe, but not.
I think that's what I thought it was because I see it on like my reels and whatnot. And I always think that it is Invincible. That's what I keep thinking it is. So heard. Okay,
I will. It's massive. It's not long. I recommend playing through it a couple times. I'm going to play through it one more time before we meet up to talk about it. But yeah, because there's a couple of different choices, but it's kind of two games in one. So there's a like visual novel animated show part where you make like dialogue choices, and then there's the actual dispatching. I'll call it a mini game, but that's a little bit disrespectful. It's got a lot going on in it, where you are like dispatching heroes to solve crimes, and you're trying to match their stats with what the crime sounds like that can be dealt with. And then there's also like a hacking mini game within that game. Like there's a lot. It's a really good game.
All right. Well, I'm checking out Dispatch.
Yeah, Dispatch.
Still can't believe I missed it, but heard. Very good. So yeah, if you want to play along with us at home, we're on YouTube. Snap the like, subscribe buttons. We're on Spotify, all that good stuff if you're listening there. But I suggest watching on YouTube because that's where we have all our fun clips and different things. And Zarwin does a fantastic job of making these not suck because it takes a lot to make me not suck.
I don't do that much. I don't do that much.
I think you do enough. You do a lot. Very good. Yeah. We're so bye.
Bye.